Hey guys, fellow resellers, fellow entrepreneurs who are looking for some knowledge and some entertainment. My name is Jeff. You can call me Jeff. You can call me Fro. You can call me Hey Fro. My wife calls me Angel. My youngest daughter, calls me Jaddy. So I have a number of different names. But we're going to talk about some sales, and we're going to talk about a comment on my video that I did last night regarding the open letter to eBay. I had a really good, insightful comment. We had a little bit of back and forth, and I want to address it in this video instead of typing out a lengthy response to his comment to my comment, which I do appreciate. PNW 1030. And I did have some sales today come through. I have a total of 9 sales, including the local sale that I showed earlier that did go through. So let's start with a sale because it's relevant to this particular viewer's comment. So I sold, and I have a glove on because this is a black cover that will pick up fingerprints. So I sold this 2-book, and if you don't know, NYX is Wolverine's daughter, 2 hardcover trade paperbacks. Well, yeah, essentially that's what they are. Well, they're graphic novels. Anyhow, I accepted an offer on these 2 for $33. Now, they're very high grade books. Now, let me back up. I want to read this particular viewer's comment, and then I want to address it, and then I want to address his response to my comment as well. So he said, the first thing sellers should be thinking about is buyers. If no one wants to buy what you're selling, then that's not something eBay can affect. 100%. I know that's not the case with my stores. I have been told on multiple occasions by many different buyers and repeat buyers that they love my stores. Like I have a knack for knowing what to list, and a lot of my stuff is not quick flips. That's just not my business model. But the thing is like, how many times have you bought something and you're like, I know this is gonna sell, and then it doesn't, and then you list something and then you're like, man, I don't even know if this is gonna sell, and then it sells immediately. Case in point, a couple weeks ago, I had got some cassette tapes from a church sale. One was Echoes of Ukraine, and it sold immediately. Just, this cassette tape. And then I actually had 2 copies, and I had an offer tonight on the second copy. Although I didn't accept it, I countered because the other one sold so fast, and his offer was like $7 below where the other one sold. So I'm like, I'll do. So I countered his counter, and he's probably not going to accept it because it's like 40% higher from his counter, and I'm okay with that. Okay, unless buyers are buying the same items you have from other sellers, then why would you think eBay is skipping you? Sales are slow on other platforms. Why would it be just eBay? Now, I can't really speak to other platforms. I only sell on eBay and local sales like Marketplace, Craigslist. But I do have 2 examples of items that sold today that I found interesting, and this is why I was appreciative of this comment, because it actually caused me to go out, and I would have already comped these when I got offers on these, but I might not have made a video to kind of show you that my items sold for lesser prices, and in one instance significantly. The other one, somebody paid more for a lesser grade condition. So that's kind of the point, is I'm going to be showing you a couple of examples, And then he said the last recession was around 2008, 2009. Yes, I totally remember that. And yes, I agree. It's not comparable. That was a crap show. I was aggressively trading equities at the time, and I remember that recession was one for the records. And he said that the economy is bad across the globe, which I agree with. But I also know that people are still buying stuff. So the fact that I am now entered into the international shipping program, I would have thought that would have offset, because why am I in the international shipping program if I'm not getting sales? So I guess that's something that I need to think about on my own, because from what I'm understanding, there are risks in being in the international shipping program with Veros. So I need to decide, is it actually worth being in the international shipping program? Am I getting enough orders? And I can't really answer that after a week and a half, but it's something that should be on everybody's minds. And then, okay, so let's talk about this book, Deadpool. Wait, no, we're talking about the NYX. So this issue, this particular book, let me pull it up. So this one, and you're just gonna, I don't know how to do, like, I don't know how to show my screen and do all that yet. Eventually I'll figure that out, but I'm a full-time reseller, and I'm a very, very part-time YouTuber. So all my videos are going to be really raw because I'm spending most of my time on eBay, which is kind of where you want somebody to be who is giving information about eBay. So this particular issue, a brand new copy. So I'm assuming, yeah, sealed, sold for $50. Now this, I have on my listing, like, what did I say? This was my description, and the condition I have is acceptable, and this particular viewer did comment on that, and this could be the problem, is that people have filters. See, I subscribe to the ideology of underperforming and over delivering. That's kind of like where I'm at. So I would rather state that it's a lesser grade and then over deliver. Now I normally just put acceptable for everything, but then I also state the description. I describe the item in detail in the item description area. Now maybe people aren't reading that, but I was like, both are high grade. The wannabe has some dust jacket creases. So that would be the one that sold for $50. On the front and back top, they both appear to be unread, as the spine are super tight. So when you open the book up to kind of see what printing it is, if it barely opens, you can tell that the book has never been read. So essentially the book is almost brand new. So the fact that somebody else paid $50, now maybe they just really wanted a sealed copy, maybe they wanted to buy it as a gift. But I had both of these for $42, and then I accepted an offer for $33. So I would imagine if he would have contacted me and said he only wanted the one, he could have gotten it, and I probably would have sold it to him for. I mean, I ended up selling it for like $16. So he could have come in for $20 and bought this particular copy instead of paying $50. So it just makes me wonder, like, why my listings aren't necessarily getting in the front of potential buyers. And I have my suspicion that it's because I don't really fully buy into the promoted listings. But like I said, maybe he just really wanted a brand new copy. Maybe it was a gift. Maybe he had a filter on for the the condition, and it was like new or like new. And like I said, I had this as acceptable. So anyhow, these sold today for $30. $33. Now, this other issue is Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. This is a trade paperback. This sold for $8 plus $6 shipping and handling, so for $14 all in. Now, when I looked at closed sales, I saw that there was, and this had been listed for about 3 months. So I believe it was in March when this particular item was listed, and I noticed in June one sold for 18 free shipping. So you figure this would have been 14. Yeah, 14 shipped. And when I look at that particular listing, the $17.98, it's a stock photo. So it says new, but it's a stock photo. Now, I would be leery about buying an item from somebody that has a stock photo in there. I'm curious to see what he has. 100% positive feedback, and he does have a really large store. So yeah, maybe someone was searching for a new item, and my item was listed as acceptable. But I actually, in the listing, I give this a grade of a 9.4, which is pretty much the baseline for a really high grade copy. Like, lots of times when they're put out on the racks at the comic stores, they're 9.4s, and then as they get handled, they get lesser and lesser. You can get 9.6s and 9.8s, but you need to be really selective. So a 9.4 is a pretty high grade to give kind of anything in the comic realm. So that one sold for 17 free shipping, and then another one sold for $17.98 free shipping. Now this particular copy, wait a second. No, the one that sold for $17.98 was a new copy, and then the other one that sold for 17 free shipping, my price would have still been better. His condition was, I don't see a condition, and in the description it says very good condition, which, what does that mean? Like, a VG copy in comics is actually really, really bad. It's really, really low. It's like I think it's like a 3 or a 4, whereas mine was a 9.4. So it's a huge, huge difference. But very good to somebody who's not a comic guy could mean pretty decent. I'm just looking at this particular seller. It's pretty new. Doesn't look like, it looks like he has some comics, but mostly cards, mostly Pokemon cards. So maybe he's not familiar with the grading system. But the point is this sold for $8. I didn't really want to even accept an $8 offer when I saw that there were other closed sales much, much higher. But at that time, I hadn't had that many sales for the day. So I was like, okay, let's get some flow, and we'll go from there. So I do appreciate this viewer's response. He did go through my store and he looked at a few things, and I will admit that lots of times my prices are higher. I kind of tend to start high and then come down from there. I'm working on that. Like I'm working on that, but it's not something that you can just address overnight. Now, let's get through a couple more sales, because like I said, I did have 9 sales today, which 10 is kind of where I want to be. Mothman Prophecies. Now, this is a cool book because it's a Frank Frazetta cover that I'm sure a lot of comic people don't actually know about. The other cool thing about this is back when this book was printed, you could actually get a poster of the Mothman by Frank Frazetta by sending $10 to a P.O. box. And I think that's pretty cool. I like kind of like mail away stuff like that. I grew up in the age of like G.I. Joe and Star Wars, where you could collect UPCs and send away and get an action figure. I like stuff like that. So this had sold, this was part of the esoteric book lot from probably about 6 weeks now, that I just got so much stuff. Still haven't even gotten it all listed. This sold for $22 a couple weeks ago, and the buyer just never paid. And so generally what I do when that happens is I raise the price. I figure it already sold once. I'm already having to deal with a non-paying buyer, so I might as well raise the price up, see what happens. This sold for 27 and change this time, so I'm glad that the guy didn't pay for it. Another thing I wanted to talk about on my store, 6 things have sold. 6 items had sold on there today. 5 out of 6 are promoted listings. I got my first non-promoted listing an hour ago when this sold. Fright Night 2. I just picked this up last week. I showed you guys. I got it at a thrift store for $2. This sold for, I was actually surprised what this sold for. It sold for $35. I remember watching Fright Night 1. I know I watched Fright Night 2 back in the day. I just don't remember it. But Fright Night 1 was just, I love that show. But anyhow, I had an error on the listing. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because I typed in the UPC symbol and it brought it up as new, but it had on the listing it being new, although you could tell by the pictures and the description that it wasn't new. But I had to contact the buyer and say, hey, there was, an error with the listing. Are you cool with receiving the item that you see in the pictures? And he was super cool about it, which I totally appreciate. It's just stressful as a seller, right? When we make errors that are just honest errors. So I really do appreciate the buyers that understand that and don't have these unrealistic expectations about, getting like partial refunds or whatnot. The Flying Nun, this sold for $15. I don't know what was up with this. Like in the span of an hour, I had 2 offers, one for 12 and one for 15. Obviously I'm going to accept the 15. I just don't know if there's something going on or anyhow. But this was part of a large lot that I either got for free or I paid like a really insanely low amount for. So, basically peanuts I bought this for. And then the last sale, I thought this was cool. I love selling buttons. There's 2 in here. There's an ACLU. And this is the ACLU as well, but it says join the American Civil Liberties Union. 2 buttons. These sold for, I believe, $21.81. And then I let the buyer know that he could add any other buttons with no additional shipping and handling, and then he ended up adding this one. I have it listed as a black and white hands dove inverted colors unique button vintage. And as I said the other night, it's vintage because that the pin goes beyond the button, and that's how you know that it's a really old. Again, I can't remember if it's pre-1950s or pre-1970s, but it's old. So he added that one for $12. So that was a $33 order on 3 buttons. So yeah, so that's what sold today. And as I said, that local sale did go through with that mask. I was really glad to get rid of that. I'm going to get back to listing, guys. I guess the bottom line is the reason why I made that video the other night is because I've been thinking more and more about what eBay is becoming, and I don't like it. Like, I understand that paying for advertisements is a normal acceptable practice. But I also I'm very suspicious when I have on my store 4,100 listings, and up until an hour ago nothing had sold that was not promoted. Like, I'm very suspicious of that kind of, like, those statistics. It just doesn't make sense to me, because I'm used to, a certain amount of sales, and woe is me. I'm used to this and I'm not getting that. But at the same time, I'm used to a certain amount of sales with significantly lower, like a smaller store. So the fact that I have more items, I'm continually listing all the time, continually building out my store, and the fact that sales aren't coming, it just leads me to believe that eBay is essentially not, they're not really, and maybe they're not necessarily suppressing listings, although I kind of think that they are. They're not doing, I don't know. It's not good. It's starting to make me think that it might be time to get my own store, like create my own store, and maybe do a little of both. Maybe have my own store where I list certain amounts of items on there. Meanwhile, and then also and include like some sort of letter or something in the things that I sell to people on eBay. Say, hey, I have this offline store. I'm just trying to think of like we got to get ahead of this as sellers, because I don't know, man. eBay is just not what it used to be. I don't have a lot of confidence. Is anybody else having errors when they're trying to invoice people after they buy it? Have you noticed that as soon as somebody buys something, or they make an offer and you accept it, and then you go to click send invoice, you get an error? It's almost like you have to wait like 2 or 3 minutes before it will even let you send an invoice, which is totally frustrating, especially when a buyer is like waiting for an invoice. For example, a buyer buys something, and then you let them know you can do free shipping on anything else added, and they add something, and then it's like you try to send the invoice and it's not letting you. Sorry, there was a mosquito. It makes you look really dumb as a seller when you're trying to send an invoice and you're trying to zero out the shipping and handling, and you're just getting errors. It's like you think that eBay can just have a functioning site. It would be nice, but well, I don't know what we're allowed to say on YouTube in terms of, my dad has a saying, maybe someday I'll say it, but are we allowed to swear on here? I actually don't even know. As I said, I'm relatively an infant on YouTube, but yeah. Anyhow, have a good evening. Hopefully your sales are, I don't want to say better than mine, but I hope that they are better than mine on some level. Or I hope that they are where you want them to be. But yeah, take care, guys. Have a good evening.